Hey all, this is Lynn with Paper Life, and I have what I am hoping to keep a simple project. However, those usually go out the window. So I'm going to try to work as I'm talking. I'm going to be doing this with you guys while we're on here, so you guys get to watch all my mess ups as it happens, kind of as normal. I attempted to do this where I was going to have all this stuff all together and have it all blah blah blah, and all I did was make it more and more complicated. So this is going to be about keeping it easy, keeping it simple. I have here a book, one I got from Dollar Tree, nothing fancy. With the newer ones, you have a harder time because they're up really tight up here. Once they're old, that becomes a lot easier. However, I kind of found something by mistake, and you guys should have heard my excitement. I don't know, it's not going to work on all of them, but with your front two pages, I had a subscriber tell me this one time because I was trying to cut them, and she said to go in between these two pages. Well, that makes sense, and I've done it, and it works really well. They're glued together, so sometimes if you kind of tear them apart, all of a sudden now you can see your stitching. See? Oh, hello. Hello. Aren't you nice and easy for me now? I like it when that happens. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes it does. Oh, or just completely tear that page out. Oh, see, that one didn't do it as nice. But yeah, I don't really care. I'm just kind of manhandling it. Take my knife and cut along here. If for whatever reason your book doesn't do that, just take your knife and cut it. Mix it work. It works that way. Tear my pages off so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to attempt to talk while I'm working. You guys know how well that works. So we'll see what happens. My theory or my reason behind doing this type of project is, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like I have been in a rut with projects, with summer coming and all my projects, and well, I say summer coming, with summer have been here because it's now almost going into fall. I'm behind. I have home projects, the kids are home when they're on summer break. I don't want to be crafting, I want to spend time with them. But then it seems like after I haven't done it for a while, it's almost like it becomes intimidating again to get into it. And I had done, like I think a lot of us do, where I come up with these elaborate ideas. So I have like 20 projects sitting around that I haven't done anything on because they were these great big projects that I was going to accomplish, and it just did not happen. So I just tear off any of the loose pieces of paper just because I want to make sure I get a nice fit on there. So at least for me, I think that might be one of my problems. I think I like, oh, I'm going to do crafting. Hey, I'm going to do this 400-page journal, and I'm going to make the cover from scratch and all this craziness, and I never get done. So this is going to be our super easy, hopefully, fingers crossed, project in order to do something fun. I grabbed some fabrics that I wanted to use. You can do it with paper. You can, you know, if you have a book cover that you like, leave it the way it is. I don't necessarily love this book cover, so I'm going to cover it. Really, it's what you want to do. I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it. Be your own person. At the end of the day, just do you. Do what makes you happy. Yeah, I've completely lost it. More so than normal. I will tell you, in my Let's Make This Easy adventure I went on, I did it a couple different ways. I used packing tape. It's the one with like the threads in it to reinforce my spine. It worked. But you know what? It made it a little more complicated. I had put just some fabric in there. That made it really easy, worked pretty nice. I did that, and then I did the outside cover. I don't want to do it that way this time, because this time I am making it easy. Maybe if I could just keep telling myself that over and over, I will follow through. Probably not though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cover. Guys, one, I really should learn to clean up my desk and my mess before I try to get back into crafting, because that is part of my problem. You should see the pile of mess that I have going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some Mod Podge. I'm just using matte. Use whatever glue it is you want to use. Don't use glue. I don't care. Do what you want to do. And I'm just going to cover the whole thing. I don't know why I'm covering the whole thing. That would probably make it more complicated. But apparently I don't know how to not do complicated. So that's what we're going to do. Cover about half of it. A little over half. Put my paper down. Put my book down. Flip my fabric over. Make sure that it's nice and pressed down. I'm not worried about the glue coming through this fabric. I'm making it easy, right? I don't care if that happens, because what I'm going to do is put some Mod Podge over the top of it once I'm happy with it. Alright, so that did good. It's in all those little creases the way that it should be. Ta-da! Let me get some of this fabric out of my way. That's going to drive me crazy, because like a yard of fabric. You guys listen to my beautiful trying to entertain myself. All right. I left allowance all the way around it. Why? Because I need an allowance, and if I don't have an allowance there, it's going to be really difficult to do it. Well, I guess not. I'm just doing it because I'm going to fold over the edges. If you wanted to do it where you cut it flat, flush, then you could do that too. Grab some more of my messy glue here. Do this other side. But I don't know. I mean, okay, I think I'm going to speak for myself here, and I'm guessing a lot of you guys can also agree. I see so many people's amazing journals, and they're beautiful. And I think one of the reasons I like them is that they're not my normal style. It gives me something different to try. And I like testing it. I like trying different styles. And I think that's a good thing. Not so much when we're trying to get our mojo back. So, go back to your basics. Go back to what it is you know that you like to do. What you like to accomplish. One of those things of, even though we can appreciate other people's work, we also need to understand that our work is great just the way it is too. We don't have to change our style because we like someone else's stuff. I don't know. Can you tell I'm trying to have a pep talk with myself? Alright, so now that I have that kind of glued down, you should probably wait for the glue to dry, but you know what? That is no fun, so I don't want to do it. I'm going to trim off my corners, trying to make it where I can fold them over. I am never really great about cutting these. I usually, I either go way too crazy, no, excuse me, and cut too much off, and then, you know, you can't glue it back on, or I don't cut enough. That one, I almost cut too much off. So now I'm going to be all leery, and this one I won't cut enough. If you know some amazing secret on how to do this, because I obviously do not know that amazing secret. Please share with the rest of the class. Now, the one nice thing about using the fabric here, and you know, especially this thinner cotton blend, mix, whatever it is that if my corners kind of lay over each other, it's not going to be that noticeable. It's not very thick. Again, I mean, like, I love the feel of fabric. I love thicker fabrics, but it just makes this part a little more complicated, and we are keeping it easy. Okay, it makes it more complicated for me. My theory, I used theory, was that I want to find a way with this journal to, one, make it where it's super easy for binding, and also make it where it's really easy for people, make it really easy for adding ephemera, decorating it as you want. The reason for that is, I know all of us tend to have an area that we like doing. I like binding books. I like the actual book making process. I don't love the embellishing process. Some people love the embellishing process, but don't like making a book. If you're one of those people that like both of them, by all means don't talk to me right now. I'll be sad. You can talk to me later. But this is just, I don't know, I think to me it felt like a way to make a journal and take the pressure off. Just eliminate some of that pressure that we put on ourselves. I don't know why we put so much pressure. So all I'm doing is folding over my corners, pressing it down. See, I didn't cut enough fabric off that corner. Oh well. Oh well, we'll fix it. Or we'll cover it up. Welcome to Junk Journaling 101. How to cover up mistakes and act like those mistakes were meant to be. Now, the one thing I'm trying to kind of make sure of is that I get a nice fold over on these edges where it's kind of like a crisp edge. Somewhat crisp. Make sure, since I didn't let it dry, that I didn't mess up any of that yet. Not yet. Fingers crossed. We'll see how this goes. I like putting a little bit of glue right along this edge because, again, that's where I'm going to fold the fabric over, and I just want to make sure it's nice and pressed up there and nice and clean in that area, because that's what I want to do. I feel like for some reason today I need to go back to like kindergarten. I have that mentality of like a little kid being like, well, why am I doing that? Because that is what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Right? I just painted my cutting mat. Why? Because I thought it needed some glue there. Okay. Same thing, I'm going to wrap this fabric over and just kind of make sure I get it into these creases. The spine is really my area that I want to spend the most caution at, spend the most time and pay the most amount of caution to. And tuck in my corners since I didn't do a great job cutting. But we're going to act like I meant to do that, right? Right? Yep, that's what we're going to do. I meant to do that. I'm finger painting with glue. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry. I think I have gone off to the crazy bin today. All right. I'm finger painting with my glue at this moment, so if that tells you how much I've gone off to the loony bin, you now know. If you don't see me for 48 hours, send me craft supplies, please. I don't know if they'll let me have scissors. Probably can't have scissors. Darn it. How do I cut paper? Oh, maybe I'll just tear it. There we go. There's always a way to work around it, right? I wonder if I can have paper. Because, I mean, I could paper cut myself. Oh, guys, you guys should hear the conversations. Oh, wait, you do hear the conversations in my head. I was trying to tell a friend, I was like, you know, it's so weird because I haven't been good about making videos in a while, that it feels really weird trying to make a video. Obviously, you guys know I'm not like mad scientist and really good at making videos or anything. It also becomes like that, well, I don't want to have silence for the whole thing, so let me just randomly talk about something. Okay, so I need to learn that silence is okay. Since I cut my fabric a little bit bigger on this corner that I needed, I'm just using my finger and kind of folding it in. I mean, because I so did that on purpose, right? All right. So just making sure that this is kind of my crucial area to make sure that my fabric is into those creases like they should be. Making sure I didn't mess up my crease there because I could have, I should have. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, because I'm going to do all this in fabric, if you were going to do something like paper, you may only want to Mod Podge part of it, you know, play around with that. But I'm going to do all of this with fabric, so I'm going to cover all of it with Mod Podge because that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I had a theory of how I was going to do this. I have some of my, this is just cheap white cotton that I get from the store. I'm sure some type of blend or whatever. Because I get it in white, what I usually do is I'll get it wet, dip some coffee on it, kind of wash it, wring it out to get the color that I want, just so it takes some of the brightness off of it. And I can't cut a straight line with paper or fabric, just does not work. I am going to do kind of the way I rip it. You can't rip all material. I find that usually cotton works well to rip. Alright, throw that to the side. And I don't know, I mean, since I can't cut it straight, at least with it frayed like that, it's like I meant to do it. I meant to do it that way, of course, right? I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, how much did I cut? It's about 3 inches wide. And I want to make it where it is just a little bit shy of the top. Like so. Like so. Try to take some of my crazy strings. Oh, wait, there's another crazy string. Off of here. Grab my handy dandy glue again, and this time I'm going to do it down my spine. Now, I mean, you could do lace here, you could paint it, you could obviously put fabric, you could, I don't know, really just whatever it is you want to do. This is about what you want to do. I, however, want to do it this way. So this is the right way to do it because this is how I'm doing it. Goodness gracious, I got glue all over my fingers. Okay, Okay, maybe that's part of the reason I feel like I'm in kindergarten, or should be in kindergarten. It's because I'm covered in glue. Okay. Now I will tell you, when you cut your fabric and you're putting it down like in Mod Podge, you can actually kind of stretch it a little bit. So that's why I tend to cut it a little bit shorter than what I think I want it to be. And that's just because the fabric has some stretch, and I'm now stretching it by putting it in the glue. I don't know why it is. It is because it is. Glue down, glue down, glue down. See, look, I'm making it look like I mean to do all this craziness. Alright, so now that I have that on there, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, just because it doesn't want to sit real great, is put a little bit of the glue right over the top, brush it on, and apparently brush my mat with it too. I am making such a mess. Okay. There we go. There we go, like that. If you wanted to put a closure, like if you wanted to put lace or something, or ribbon as your closure, you might want to lay it down there now. If you were going to do something like cut 2 pieces of paper and just put them over on these sides, you could do that. I'm going to use some more fabric, I think. And I honestly, that's kind of the reason I'm doing this in this way, is that I want to set up the base of my journal, and then I can add into it as I go. Make it as elaborate, add, oh, that would be nice to have a pocket here. Oh, that would be nice to have this. And then I just add it in. So I'm going to take my white fabric, kind of eyeball about halfway. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's see. And then I'm going to want, let's say about, can't you guys tell how completely precise I am being on this? Not that much. Come on. Rip that in half. File that away in the trash behind me. Get some of my crazy strings that are going everywhere. Get those off. So that is now about big enough to go across there. And I could cut this in half and put like one section here and one section there. I don't know, I might do that. I feel like that might make it a little easier. Alright, let's see what happens. Hey, I just glued myself to it. Let's see what happens now. So that's kind of cool like that, I think. I think that's kind of cool like that. Let's glue my table again. This is part of the reason I do not like trying to craft when I have a complete mess going on. I feel like I make it more difficult. Like I just glued my arm down to the book cover because that seemed like a good idea at the moment. All right. Get off some of my crazy strings. Okay, there we go. Kind of lay it down where I think I want it to go. Now I cut this one so that I'm not going back down into that gap again. So I don't have to worry about trying to go over that fold and push it in and all that other good stuff. All right. See about how much of this side I need to cut. About that much. That looks good right about there, I think. We'll do that. Maybe. Come on, tear for me. Cut off some of my crazy strings that are going with it. All right. Oh wait, got more crazy strings. What are you guys doing? All right, already. Let's see. I don't know why I'm getting more glue out of the bottle. I feel like I could just wipe up what's on my desk, my cutting mat, and I would have plenty. Well, is anybody else spotting what I see and what I'm not loving at the current moment? Does anybody see the problem that I see? All right. So, yes, you can kind of see it. I did leave it kind of not completely flat. I don't know if I mind that or not. I think I kind of like those in there. But, as you can see, where I tore my white off, the paper that was there before, where I tore it, you can see the outline of it. I don't love that. But, you know how I'm going to fix that? Do you know how I'm going to fix that? I don't yet. I don't know how I'm going to fix that yet. I could just simply put another piece of fabric over the top of it. I could put a fabric that has a little more detail, a little darker. It'll kind of help hide some of that. Could just leave it alone and put a pocket there later. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue everything down and come back to it later. See what I feel like later with it. So, the next stage of all this is going to be, I'm going to put like at least one more coat of Mod Podge over it. Depending on how you like it, what it's doing, how much you're gluing on your table, is how much you want to put. I will then tell you something I did the other day, because like I said, I tried to make this all easy and it did not work, so I just scrapped it and we tried it live, because that's how we do this. I made more of a mess. You guys should have seen me trying to get that piece of thread off my hand. I made this journal cover, and when it was done with the Mod Podge, it had, well, here, let's see. It was real scratchy. It sounded scratchy. It didn't sound good. So what I did was I took my nail file, because I was too lazy to get a piece of sandpaper out, and just kind of buffed over the top of it. Once you're happy with that, you can either leave it like it is, you can decorate it, you can add a closure, you can add some pockets in here if you wanted, but this is going to be your journal cover. Okay? We got a journal cover. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to fix that, because I don't know yet. And then we are going to meet back here, if I haven't lost you completely. If I've lost you completely and you just want to go to sleep and act like you've never seen my video, I won't mind. If you guys are still here, we'll go ahead and make our signatures and our paper that'll go inside here. And we won't be doing any sewing. It'll be easy peasy. So I'll see you back.